actually, this is as real as it gets.
Hey, this is Marcia Prince, IFBB Bikini Pro and Guest Berry Nutrition spokesmodel, and you are listening to the UCW radio show, In Your Face.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In Your Face.
All right, welcome to the UCW radio show, and we have another great guest waiting in the wings to come on. He's an MMA fighter. He's a martial artist first. He's been in the world of martial arts for 30-something years. Okay, and he's still fighting, not because of the money, not because he has nothing better to do, but because he's continually testing his skills. Okay, and he's a genuinely great guy, and he's actually a teacher par excellence. No, I'm not even pulling punches with that one. Okay, but he's been around the circuit. He got involved in mixed martial arts in his early 40s, and this Saturday, at the age of 49, he's getting back in the cage in Plymouth, Mass, at Cage Fighting Extreme to get back in there and prove to himself, not to anyone else but himself, that he still has it and he's still bringing it. And his opponent's going to get a nice lesson. A life lesson. I have no doubt about it. But anyway, he's on hold. And let's bring on Mike Loco Lobo Gresh. All right, we have Loco Lobo Mike Gresh on the line. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Louis. Nice to be here.
Well, I'm glad you came on. It was a tough journey getting on here. My God, I had you have your people call my people, and then they called some other people that we didn't even know, and then all of a sudden, other people were calling other people. This went around China, India, and it came back over here, and now we have you on the show.
My bad.
It happens. So now, I want our listeners to understand more about you. You're a true martial artist through and through. You're not an MMA fighter per se. You're a martial artist first. Okay.
I've been a martial artist for 38 years. Yes.
Yeah. Now, how did you get involved in martial arts? I mean, it's been a long road for you.
Sure.
A lot of people know you from the MMA world. You're a champion in your own right. But I want to crank it back a little bit and go through your journey. How did you get involved in martial arts?
Well, my dad was a martial artist when he was young, and when I was 10 years old, he kind of signed me up. We were like the only karate school on the Cape, and I was fortunate to start my training with Sensei Art Rabisa, who was a legendary figure in the Northeast in full contact karate, and the style was Wei-Chi-Ru karate, so I immersed myself in that style for many years, and got some, learned a lot from Sensei Art Rabisa, who I consider still one of my idols. So that we go back a long time with the traditional martial arts. I've been fortunate to have really good trainers, Louis.
Yeah, you've been trained, or you're actually trained in various styles.
Absolutely, I'm a black belt in Wei-Chi-Ru karate. I'm also hold a black belt in Hawaiian Kempo and a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So and I've trained, of course, I'm a level 2 trainer under crew Mark Delagrati from the famed Sit-Yat Tong camp, and also trained with Joe Murphy and Jeet Kune Do for many years up in Waltham, who's a fantastic practitioner. So, like I said, in the Northeast, I've searched out some of the best instructors around, and it's, it's been time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears, but I think in the long run it's paid off.
Well, maybe it's been more of a lifestyle for you rather than you learning how to fight.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, we've talked before, Louis. It's not just about fighting. Martial arts is, of course, martial means to war, or the warring arts. But there's discipline, there's integrity, there's the lifestyle that goes with it. Respectability, respect your peers, respect the folks you train with. It's not just about tattoos, mohawks, and colorful things, and just jumping out there. And that's MMA. I hope it comes back to a respect. There's a lot of really fine MMA fighters out there that come from various backgrounds that are really, really respectful. But it also attracts a lot of people that they think they can fight, and then they because they got a few tattoos and they wear tap out and affliction wear, but they're lacking in a lot of ways.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, even Dana White said this himself, that the basis of UFC has to do with martial arts itself. It's not just people getting in there, as you said, throwing on a pair of I can't promote the brand, but whatever MMA shorts you're going to wear,
sure.
And you're going to put on some gloves, and you're going to pretty up and get tanned and muscled up, and thinking you're going to go in there and just brawl. The area of Tank Abbott and what's his face is over.
These guys were figures that you got to respect to the sense that they jumped in there and did it, but they were always lacking. They were very one-dimensional fighters, and I'm not taking nothing away from them, men, but the area of like you said, the street fighter getting in there and the one-dimensional fighter, those days are long gone. You're right.
Yeah,
absolutely. And Dana White's got it right.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. Like someone like Tank Abbott or whoever it may be, that a brawlers, they may know how to brawl. They can pack a heavy punch, but we're talking about the foundation, because it's beyond getting in there and fighting, and it's about going and and training and learning and honor and respect and being able to pay it forward to the people that you teach. And that's what you do in Cape Cod.
Yes, we have a school right in Plymouth, Mass, Cape Cod Fighting Alliance, and got some phenomenal students right now that are competing. We're a competition school, but I also have people in here that are doctors and lawyers and accountants and all walks of life that are in just to learn the art form and to better themselves either physically, mentally, spiritually, and to just better their lives all around. And that's what that's the goal as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's what it should be, and
yes.
And that's what you're doing over there. Now, after you trained, all these years, how long ago did you open up Cape Cod Fighting Alliance?
Well, we've been open about 6 years now.
Okay, all right.
6 years, me and Pat Schultz.
Pat Schultz, another fine fighter.
Yep, UFC veteran.
Yep, exactly.
And all-around great athlete, good guy, you know what I mean? So we've been open 6 years, so we got something going on, and we've been consistent, and we put a lot of good, besides, bettering people's lives, we do have a great fight team that fight all over the Northeast. We have, at one time, we had 4 or 5 fighters in the top 10, little school who we are right on the Cape. And they were in the top 10, right up there with, guys like Siya Tong and Bomb Squad, White Crew, and certain other schools,
Yeah, but then it's all about how you train your people, how you train your students, how you groom them, and how you build them. Because, again, I keep going back to the foundation, but the foundation is the most important thing. I don't care if it's martial arts or you're raising a child. The foundation's important.
Yeah, well, we have a curriculum here, Louis, and it's just like you're saying, a foundation is, there's a curriculum going on here where it's not like you see a lot of schools, and I'm not just saying in this area, but all around, where you walk in and it's pickup. It's like, hey, Louis, what do you want to do? You want to roll? Louis, what do you want to do, box? No. You come on in. We have structured classes for each. We have beginners classes. We have advanced classes. We have Brazilian jiu-jitsu classes. We have Muay Thai classes. We have MMA classes. And for each group, for advanced, beginner, intermediate, and each one of those classes is structured around that group of people. So they're not just jumping in there and you just pick. It's not pickup. You know what I mean, Louis?
Right. Of course, people aren't just coming in and just jumping into something, and then the next day doing something else that has nothing to do with what you did the day before.
Exactly. We have a method, a a method behind it. There's a lack of a better word, there's a method to the madness, and everybody's growing at a rapid pace, and it's from the structure, and that's, you know, the tradition of, and I've gotten that through the martial arts, the traditional martial arts from my, you know, growing up, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've done it long enough, and you've built up, and you started your organization, and I see it. And I've seen your students up close, and I see how you are with them, and how you train them, and how they get in there, and how they compete. And win, lose, or draw, you know, at the end of the day, they do battle with honor. And they do respect.
Oh,
they respect
when
they're
come in
done.
there. Yeah, we're bringing people to fight and to compete, and win or lose. We always we try to make a statement. I mean, you were there when my kids took the whole Northeast New England penetration. Yeah. All of my kids.
Yeah, but they all, and again, I pointed out, they got in there, they did their thing, and they still, even though they won, there was still respect for their opponent at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I insist on that. I insist.
Yeah, well, I mean, some organizations don't do that. Look, it's funny, and we were just, you know, talking about MMA and how, you know, you have the basis of being martial arts. You know, I don't know how many times throughout the country that I travel and I see schools, Taekwondo, whatever the case may be, and then all of a sudden, a year later, a year and a half later, it's like MMA training. Same people in there, but now it's MMA training. You know, I guess they're going with what's trending in order for them to make a buck.
Good point. Yeah. Good point. This is the thing, and I see it around this as healthies in mass, and without naming any names, as I can name, I'm not going to name names, but schools that were traditional karate schools, people jumping on the bandwagon of MMA.
Yeah,
and there's I mean, listen, I respect anybody that teaches martial arts, but what's your lineage? What is your lineage to teach this? You know what I mean? Who have you trained with? Because, I mean, typically if you're training fighters and to get into the ring and you don't have a background in any combative arts to say, you could be hurting somebody down the line. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. You know, if you're training someone and you're not qualified, then that's a problem. You know,
agreed, and we see it all the time. People are hanging their shingles out there. MMA. Well, MMA, yeah, it's a new trend, like BJJ was 11, 12 years ago. When Royce Gracie in '93 and Scott made that statement. Going back even more, people were, we're grappling. I mean, right now, I'm looking right across the way. I'm in the car having this interview, and Daniel Gracie just pulled up. We just picked him up from Rhode Island. We have the multiple world-time champion and Pride veteran and Bellator veteran right here training with us tonight at CCFA.
Yeah, but, you know, he's training there because he knows you have a great facility, and he knows you guys are the real deal.
Yeah, he's going to be walking me into the cage Saturday night. He's been my instructor for 11 years, and what I'm getting at is he's been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu since he was 7 years old. I believe he's 38 years old. I mean, so do the math. I mean, this guy's been doing this all his life. His credentials speak for themselves, world champion, and multiple Bellator and Pride veteran, and many Valley Tudo fights, you know what I mean? So this guy knows his stuff, you know.
Yeah, but even with the Gracie family, you know, Mike.
Sure.
You know, when they hang a banner, it doesn't say MMA training, Gracie MMA. It's like it's their style, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and this is what it is. You know,
it's exactly what it is. It's Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, if we're getting in deeper into the mixed martial arts, you know. MMA entails much more than, of course, BJJ. It entails, you know, I like to say the Muay Thai, BJJ, wrestling, boxing, and some karate in there, and judo's good too. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's a background of, and I always search out the best instructors. Throughout my life, I've always tried to find the best instructors. I guess it's almost like buyer beware, Louis. You really gotta search out who with the lineage and who's the best at this and what are your credentials. I mean, if you were going to have open heart surgery, do you want the best doctor that's been doing it for 20 years and had successful operations, or do you want pick somebody that's it's his first operation. I don't think so.
Well, maybe,
you know what I mean?
Or maybe you can have an eye doctor give you heart surgery.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go with the guy that's proven, and
Right.
and we have a proven track record. My Muay Thai coach is, arguably, to me, he's the best striking coach in the world today, especially for MMA. Arguably in the top 5. We could argue, we could go back and forth to some of the people, Duke Rufus and, different people throughout the world, but I think Mark Telegrati is the number 1 striking coach in the MMA community in the world today, and I've been training with him for 9 years. I mean, we have a great relationship,
Well, I want to state this because we're talking about schools and what they do. Some do. I also I know some schools, they change their curriculum and they add legitimate components to their curriculum. They may bring in someone to teach Muay Thai. They may bring in someone to teach grappling, and that's why they just change their signage. I understand that, but if you are a Taekwondo trained practitioner, and you change your signage to say now you're teaching MMA, I don't understand the qualifications that qualify someone to be well-rounded, as you said, in the boxing, grappling, and stand-up, and in jiu-jitsu. I don't understand because you have to be qualified in order to do that. That's my opinion anyway.
No, your opinion is absolutely right, and it's right on the mark, because I have a serious problem with that. It's like, hey, don't be someone you're not. You know what I mean? I respect the guys that put the time in to learn their art. But this is serious business. You got 2 guys going in an octagon cage, and there's just so many guys out there that are putting that shingle out there, like you said, and they have no basis. I always ask this: what's your lineage? And I'm not necessarily saying that an instructor has to fight in there, okay? Because that's not necessarily true too. But I will tell you this: in MMA, any kind of high-level competition, from football to anything, it's a mental game in the back room. And I believe with all my heart that, and I've always say this scenario, that you're in the back room, Lewis. Here's me and you're fighting tonight, Lewis, and I'm your coach. But I've never fought in MMA. I've never done any competition. But you're going into the cage, and I look at you, and I hit you on the back. I go, come on, Lou, we can do this. I said, you're going to do good. This is what I want you to do. Well, halfway down the runway, you're going, what the hell is this guy talking about? He's never done this.
Right.
There's a moment in a man's mind. He goes, what's this guy talking about? You lose respectability there. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's the mental aspect. I've seen men lose fights in the back room because the coaches didn't know how to handle it, because they've never been in that situation. It's like, let me give you another scenario. When the Vietnam War broke out, or even let's say the Korean War, well, who did they use to train the new recruits at all these deployment centers? World War II veterans.
Yeah.
Guys that were in the trenches. You get what I'm saying?
No, I get exactly what you're saying.
It wasn't guys behind the desk doing not interviews, but writing different things, or pushing the buttons around. These guys were in the trenches, and that's the importance of who. And even in Vietnam, who they used? They used Vietnam. They used Korean War veterans to teach these men.
And I'll expand on that thought a little bit, because you brought up the military. Have ever you seen the movie Platoon? And there's a scene in there where you have the lieutenant, which was an educated guy, became lieutenant. Then you had the two actual warriors, where no one respected the lieutenant, but they had to listen to him. Okay,
right.
But it's the same thing. When you go in a war, you want to make sure that you have someone by your side that's fought a war.
Right on.
Okay, so
right on. It's Bruce Lee said, you can't learn to swim by watching a videotape. You got to get in the water, and that brings me to why am I competing at 49 years old? 2 reasons. I can do it still. I feel good, and I do it for my students to show them. Listen, age is a number. I'm still out there doing it. I feel great doing it, and I got the feeling of competition. So, If I can do it, you sure as heck can do it. If you'd like to do it.
Well, you're leading by example.
Leading by example, you know what I mean?
And you've put like your words. You actually have put them to the test. You know, because you can. Anyone can say anything, but you actually put your money where your mouth is, and you've been doing.
I always have.
Yeah, but you've been getting in just in the world of mixed martial arts. You've been getting in that cage, in that ring, for quite some time.
I've competed since I've been a child in karate tournaments when it was basically full contact karate tournaments. Okay, and then I fought my first mixed martial art fight at 44 years old. I had people tell me, "You're out of your mind." I said, "That may be so, but I said I feel good and I'm going to do this." And I won my reality title, 145 title of the Northeast at 45 years old. And from 45 to 47 was ducked by the top 5 guys in the 145 division in the Northeast. I wanted fights with numerous guys who will remain nameless, but they didn't want to fight me.
But
you know what I mean? I wanted to test myself, you know?
Well, I mean, I think that as a true martial artist, you're always learning, and you're always trying to test yourself and test your skills.
Sure.
And
sure.
I think, and you mentioned Bruce Lee, I think that he was always doing that to himself. Not that anyone put the pressure and said, "Oh, we'll challenge you." It was like a self-inflicted thing. Anyone that is constantly evolving, and in martial arts, you're constantly evolving. There's no end. There's no end.
Exactly.
So you're always progressing.
I give you an example. I've been training with Crew Mark Delagrati for 9 years. You think you got a certain kick down, like the low tie kick, right? Mm-hmm. And I think I got a nice kick. And boy, he looks at it. A crew toy comes over from the main camp, the main trainer from City Tongue, and he'll look at it and he'll always have a little correction, a little piece of advice to make it a little bit better. So it's just like you said. You're always evolving. You can always fix things. I learn from my white belts. You know, I got my black belt 2 years ago in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I have students saying, "Mike, what do you think of this?" "Oh, that's cool, man. Let's try that out." And I learn all the time from these guys.
But that's keeping your mind open and being and just being flexible, because you can't be so kind of concrete in your learning or your training, because if that's the case, concrete breaks.
Yes, flexible.
Yeah, I'd rather be the rubber. Slap me around.
That's it. Flexible. The tree that's dead in the hurricane breaks in half, and the tree that's bendable goes with it. You know what I mean? So
and keeps growing.
Cliche things, but we can learn from them. You know.
Yeah, definitely no doubt about that, Mike. All right, now on that note, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with Mike Loco Lobo Gresh.
City, our knights forgot their shiny swords. Beneath the headlights, we look for lovers on billboards. And do you like it here? In this city, our lives are right behind the shore. Just look beside you and in your head tally the fake score. Do you like it here? You cannot fail until you fold. But once you compare, you're closer than to being sold. And do you like it here? Did we forget what we're fighting for? To need to want to feel, to wish to live, to see that open door. Can I forget that we're at war. But in your head you know exactly what you're fighting for. And do you like it here?
Yeah, and this world full of envy. I pray that I, yes I, am those that are in need. I pray this to my Father, that we live in honesty and live in unity amongst one another. Yeah man, each one is a friend, yeah, each man is a brother, yeah. This world would be such a beautiful world if we just learn to live in love. This world would be such a beautiful world if we just learn to live in peace, yeah. This love and unity share with me as I share with you. He cares for you. He said that the Father give you know is brand new. Another day we rise, another day we strive. So tell me why you want to pull your brother down. The Father's giving life, true we must survive. So tell me why you want to shoot your brother down. I hope you're hearing me, knowing the Father cares for me, He cares for you. What He's giving me, He can give to you too. And if your neighbor just ask of you, don't say no if you know you have it, yeah. Cause when we learn to share, we will learn to love. And yes, you'll be so glad that you gave it. This world would be such a beautiful world if we just learn to live in love. This world would be such a beautiful world if we just learn to live in peace, yeah. You say the Lord only helps those who help themselves, but that's the way of those who love and that is unworld. How good my Lord must be someone else, but when me check it out, He helps those who help someone else. And granted, you have your own affairs, so you say you'll help yours and they'll help theirs. And so you respond, you think that no one cares. Oh Lord, if they only know you are there. This world would be such a beautiful world if we just learn to live in love. This world would be such a beautiful world.
All right, we're back, and you were just listening to some tunes from the Pure Film movie. That's a project that was put together by some very good friends of mine, Stephanie and Kelsey McNeil. It's a documentary film project bringing attention to child trafficking and trying to prevent it. And if you are interested in learning more about it, go to this website, www.thepurefilm.com, and find out how you can get involved. Now, and also, before I continue, we have this Saturday, okay, in Plymouth, Mass., we have Cage Fighting Extreme going on. In order to find out more about it and to get my tickets, because you definitely don't want to miss this show, go to www.cagefx.com. That's www.cagefx.com. Get your tickets, because this place, the Jungleplex, gets sold out. It's ridiculous. If you've never been to one of their events, you have to go, because I mean the crowds are just ridiculous. Okay, but now let's get back with Mike Loco Lobo Gresh, and let's get back and let's talk about what his mixed martial arts background, what he's been doing. You, and again, correct me if I'm wrong,
Sure.
but when you were fighting reality fighting, okay, and you became a champion. In that organization, and then you were fighting with. How did you get involved with CFX, Cage Fighting Extreme?
I just started hearing about them putting on some nice shows around the Northeast, and it caught my attention in Brockton. I'm like, wait a minute, who's this girl putting on these shows? This good-looking woman. Let's forget Gary here for a second. I mean, come on now, Linda stands out a little. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We love Gary, but Linda stands out. I'm like, look at this female promoter, and what is she doing? It just intrigued me. You know what I mean? And now all of a sudden, I went to a show and I met them, and they took me out to dinner, and then I was gonna started. I think I put maybe a student of mine in one of their shows. I'm pretty sure that happened. It might have been the other way around, but I either fought for them or one of my students fought for them first, and I just liked the way they operated and they conducted themselves, and they treated the fighters and the way they treated me, and I fought for them, and like I said, everything went good except for one thing. Guess what happened? My opponent didn't show up the day of the weigh-ins to fight me.
Oh, that's always nice.
Yeah. Well, that's par for the course, you know what I mean? I'm like, really, dude? I said, so I just cut 15 to 18 pounds. I came in on the money at 145 and a half, and my opponent didn't show, so I had to fight on their show. I had to fight a kid that was, before the commission was in, I had to fight a kid that was 20 pounds bigger than me.
So, and that's one thing when you have a fight lined up. I don't care if you're sick, whatever, that you show up, and at the very least give the respect. Don't not show up.
Oh my goodness, that was a bummer for me. I was like, are you kidding me? And the other thing is when you train for a certain kind of opponent, Louis, and then you're fighting now you're fighting another guy, and the next day it throws you off a little. So I'm like, okay, so there was a good test for me, and I passed with flying colors. I TKO'd the kid in the first round, but it was an interesting, just a train of events at that moment, And I don't wish. It's just I really emphasize what you said. If you sign for a fight, you better damn show up.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't fight, you have to show up. You have to, just out of respect.
You got to lose credibility in this. And listen, this is one of the few areas of professions where, we're not fooling around here. This is serious business. These guys, you know what I mean? Okay, it's. I mean, I hate to say it is. It's a martial art and so on and so forth, but it gets violent in there, and it's. There's a lot of trash talking going on, and there's a lot of two men are stepping in the cage. All your strengths are going to be exposed in front of 3,000 people, and all your weaknesses are going to be exposed in front of 3,000 people. It's a very serious business. If you sign for a fight, you sign a contract, and you don't show up, well, let me tell you something, buddy. You just lost all credibility with the whole community now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because
not just with me.
Well, that doesn't just go unheard. That rumors get around, and whoever they're fighting, if that guy is a blowhard, you're gonna hear about it for 6 months.
Yeah, and seriously, I'll even go a step farther. I'd show up, even though if I knew I was going to get my ass kicked, It's a matter of integrity and pride, when it comes down to it. You know what I mean? This is a serious sport, and you know what I mean. It's a prize fighting. There's money involved too. I mean, it's not just integrity and pride and all that. But let's face it, this sport has become big.
Yeah,
there's a lot of money involved.
But it comes down to having honor.
And that's the high. I agree. That's the. I would do this fight Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm.
For nothing. To get out there and to test myself and to compete.
Don't let Gary hear that.
No, don't tell Gary that. He'll probably hear it anyways. But
hear it
anyway. I really would. I mean, just to test myself and to compete, because me getting out there, it does bring students in, but I do it for I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for the students. I'm doing it for a test. I hate to be that guy that's 70 years old and you look back on your life and go, geez, I wish I did that.
Yeah.
What a wasted life, my friend.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. That's why any opportunity, I see it in you, that any opportunity you do step up to show your ability. I've seen you with your students as they compete and how you're right there by their side. You're not in the back having a coffee or doing something else. You're there, right there, within inches from them while they're battling,
right.
And they know you're there. Okay, so
right on.
But that helps them to get where they need to be, and them knowing that you're there to support them is a big thing. It's a really big thing.
I got what's really excited me The two things that excited me in the last year, and the first thing was I started a jiu-jitsu class for young kids about a year ago, and the response we've had down here has been phenomenal. I've also been, I have young kids that I've been training since 11 years old, and MMA and Muay Thai and so on and so forth that have really, they're like 17 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
And these kids, my goodness gracious, the future of MMA is coming up within the next year. I have two kids who remain nameless right now. They're going to make such a stir in the Northeast, Louis. That you remember me saying this. I have two kids right now, maybe three kids. They're going to make such a stir that the storm that is going to be unleashed in the next year is going to be phenomenal.
And I'm not doubting you at all, because I know you, and I know how you deal with your students, and I know how you train people. I know your background. So yeah, I'm gonna hold you to that now.
Yeah, you will, because these kids, I got one in particular. This kid is a phenom, phenomenal, all around awesome martial artist, from wrestling, state champion, to BJJ, Muay Thai, boxing. He's got it all, and you know what? The thing is, like, we go back to this all the time, Louis. He's a respectful young kid who does well in school. The martial arts has changed his life, and that's what I'm all about, is changing these kids' lives, so they're not out there in the streets, and they're not doing drugs, and they're not acting silly out there, because this is what we need: more schools in the cities, the inner cities. You've heard some great success stories from boxing gyms in the city that, have taken a kid that's, had trouble with the law and turned his life around. You know what I mean? And this is what we're trying to do here too,
Well, I've seen it in so many different, beyond martial arts, I've seen it in life. If you give someone that glimmer of hope, okay, they'll make something happen. Look, I was just reading a story, today actually, about a kid in Cincinnati. Cleveland, that was homeless, teenager, homeless, living from couch to couch for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Just got accepted to Harvard.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's
the stories I want to hear, man.
Yeah, but that's what it's about. It's about having a goal, no matter how outrageous. I mean, think about it. This kid's homeless, bouncing around. People, and he's saying, look, I'm going to go to Harvard, and people are like, yeah, you're homeless. I don't think so. But he did it.
Nothing's impossible.
Yeah, nothing's impossible. That's the thing. You have to just lay out the opportunity. If you create the opportunity, then people will be able to at least try to get to that point.
It's all about gameness. It's all about never stop and lose. It's never about. I don't believe in the word quit. I just don't believe in it. It's not in my vocabulary. You know what I mean? I just don't believe it.
Yeah.
I think anything you achieve, you want to achieve, you can achieve it by working hard, treating people right. You don't have to cheat, steal, or lie. Work at it hard, and don't quit. That's the word. Don't quit.
Yeah, but that's a key thing. Don't quit. Keep fighting. Keep making things happen. And now at the age of 49, you're getting back into the cage this weekend.
Right.
And actually,
yes,
but before we get into that, I have a question. Are you involved in any charities?
Not that I know of.
But you're doing stuff for the kids.
I'm doing stuff for the kids, if you could say. Yeah, I mean,
of course.
I try to do as much as I can for the kids, you know.
Yeah, but that's what it's about. You're giving, you're paying forward.
I try to put my time into these kids. I have a couple great instructors with me that really, they put a lot into the kids too. That's just phenomenal to see these young kids grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, look, I'm asking you if you do any charity. Like, not that I know of. No, it had nothing to do with Cancer Society or anything like that. It had to do with what you give back. And that's what you do.
I guess you're right. Then I do. Yeah.
Yeah, of course you do. I see it.
Sure.
And you're developing the next round, the next generation, and making it happen. And they're going to see you this upcoming weekend in Plymouth.
Right.
You're going to be fighting in your backyard at the age of 49. You're getting in the cage.
Yes.
All right, on Saturday, and tell me how you feel about that.
I'm anxious, to be honest with you. I feel anxious. I go through moments of little anxiousness, and I go through moments of peace. Not a serious anxiousness, but just like ready to go, I guess, if you want to say it.
Okay.
Ready to go, ready to unleash unleash what I've trained hard for the last 7-8 weeks for. To show people that, you know what, win or lose, I'm in there. It's going to be a great contest. The kid I'm competing against is definitely no tomato can. He's one of the top 155 fighters in the Northeast. I believe he's a high-level purple belt or brown belt under the Machado brothers, under Tim Burrell.
Okay.
Really respectful kid. So it's going to be, let's put it this way, it's going to be exciting because I make it exciting. I'm going right in there and I'm going to take it to him.
Well, and that's what you do, Mike. That's exactly what you do. Now you're fighting. What weight are you coming in at, or do you hope to come in at?
160. We're doing 160.
Okay,
catch weight like a 160.
So this is a little heavier than you normally fight at.
Yes, I could fight at 145. But what I've really worked on in the last 6 months is try to put at least a couple pounds of muscle on. You know what I mean?
So you're gonna come in stronger.
I feel real strong. I got that old man strength cooking, Louis. You know what I mean? And and there's something to that. You know, it's like I always like it like this. That when the hunters go out and shoot a deer, the old deers they're tough. The meat is tough as hell. You know what I mean? You gotta put it in the crock pot. But the young deer, it's a nice tender meat. You know what I mean? So there is something to that old man strength. You know what I mean?
Well, I think this Saturday. I don't know who you're fighting. You know.
Yep. I know who he is.
Yeah, and I don't know too much about him. No, not. You know.
His name's Pistol Pete Jeffries, and he's a fantastic kid. It's just a very respectable match where you can have two high-level jiu-jitsu guys, submission fighters, going at it in the cage, and it's going to be not a grudge match or anything like that. You're going to have two high-level guys going at it with respectability, but it's going to be lack of a better word, violent.
Yeah, well, when Pistol Pete is coming, this is not the Wild Wild West. It's definitely not the OK Corral. You're going into the cage, you know, and you're going in there to do your thing. And I think that you talked about hunting. Mike, I'm going to say this, and this is intense, but I think you're going to hunt the hunter.
I believe you're right. I'm ready to. Let's put it this way. This kid I'm fighting is a really high-level kid, and he's tough as nails. But I'll tell you right now, when you're 49 years old, if he for one instance took it in his brain, he's still 49 years old, he made a serious miscalculation. If he just for one moment, if he even thought of that, we're going to push him. Just going to push him. Well, let me tell you something. My training partners here are in there right now waiting for me. These guys, these Brazilians, I train exclusively a lot with the Brazilians. I train a lot with American boys, but I have a few Brazilian training partners in here that are 190 pounds, high-level guys, competitors that go to Grappler's Quest, Pan-American champions. These guys outweigh me by 20, 30 pounds, and I've been in there pushing myself with fresh opponents for the last 7 weeks. So you're not going to get me tied in there, my friend, and I'm strong as heck right now. So it's going to be... I would assume he didn't take me for granted because, I know he knows who I am. So if he was smart, he trained like a dog.
I'm sure that Pistol Pete is slinging out there doing his thing. But you have three things going in your favor, Mike, and no doubt about it. Okay, first, your experience. Okay, and you're hard as a rock. All right,
hard as a rock.
I'm going to say a la Rocky, Plymouth Rock. Oh, there you go. So you're hard as that rock. All right. Now you're training, and you're fighting at a weight that's about 10 to 15 pounds, which you normally fight at.
Sure.
All right. You're coming in with some strength, so you have
I'm going to be strong.
You have resilience. You have strength. And now you're fighting guys that outweigh you by 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds. You're coming there with some sort of some really how can I put it? You're getting knocked around. So you're coming in there with some
you
lumps.
Guys were trying to, you're absolutely right. And you know what? I just want to say one thing. Don't take this with a thing of pride, but I have a saying, and I truly believe this, and I've always said this in all my life. Is that there might be people there with a little better technique than me. They might be a little more loose around the edges. But I'll tell you something right now. Nobody. I always say this. I have this in my mind. That's why when I went in the cage, I say I don't think there's anybody out there tougher than me. Yeah. And I bring that to the ring or the cage. And with that mentality, there's nobody tougher than me. I'm going to out-tough you. If I can't out-technique you, I will out-tough you. And that's going to be it.
Yeah, well, that's what it comes down to. What did Rocket say in the movie? It's not how hard you get hit, but it's how many times you're going to get up, and how many times you're going to get up. You have to keep getting up, and that's the thing. If someone wants to beat you, they have to actually knock you the hell out.
Well, to add to that, I fought Josh LaBerge 2 years ago at Plymouth in Memorial Hall for the Reality 145 title. He was 26 years old, and I was 47 years old. Okay? And I took him to a 3-round decision. I put 16 stitches in him. He put 4 in me. He knocked out Dan Bonnell twice at Bellator. He knocked out Anthony Leone with a knee to the face. Anthony Leone is the ranked 135 fighter in the Northeast and ranked in the 145. Very tough kid from Bomb Squad. Mm-hmm. And the old man took him 3 5-minute rounds. And he said on the microphone, and Bill Murphy is his manager, he said, I never fought a tougher kid in my life than that old man. So this is what's coming to Pete Jeffries this weekend. And I say that with complete respect to him as a martial artist.
Well, I hope he comes fully loaded, because at the very least, you guys are going to put on a hell of a show. You speak highly of him, and he has to come in with respect for you because of not only what you've accomplished in the cage, what you've accomplished in your martial arts career. 30-something years, Mike, 30-something years, you took it, you brought it, you made it, you're filled with resilience. You're as I said, you're like a board, man, that doesn't want to break. You're like that petrified wood that doesn't want to break, and you're gonna bring this kid. If anything, if he takes anything out of this, it's gonna make him a better fighter.
Oh, listen, this is we're gonna shake hands beforehand, and we're gonna shake hands afterwards, win or lose, and it's gonna be a fantastic, technical, violent spectacle for all ages to come and see. People, like Gary was saying, and Linda, that there's people coming to see this match more than some of the MMA fights, because he's like I said, he's a very highly ranked and very respected fighter in the Northeast, and I just can't wait to get in there with the kid and show the fans what's going to happen. It's going to be epic, bro.
Yeah, well, this is UFC style fighting, UFC style fighting, UFC style competition coming to Cage Fighting Extreme this Saturday in Plymouth, your backyard. You're going to do it. Now, what's the website for your school? So in case anybody is listening and they're in your area, they want to find out more about you, man.
Yep, CapeCodFightingAlliance.com.
Everything's spelled out, CapeCodFightingAlliance.com.
Yep. .com, and we're also on Facebook. If you just click on Cape Cod Fighting Alliance, we have a nice site on Facebook, and that would be a good site to reach us too. So we have 2 nice sites going on.
All right, good deal. So anyone that's listening out there, CapeCodFightingAlliance.com, check it out. Find out more about Loco Lobo. Find out more about what's happening in the school with the other trainers there. And most importantly, see Mike Gresh, Loco Lobo, get into it with Pistol Pete Jeffries this Saturday, Cage Fighting Extreme, Plymouth, Mass, at the Jungleplex. You don't want to miss it, because I don't want to miss it. All right, but I think this is going to be like a match of, as in your words, Mike, of epic proportions, where you guys are going to bring it. You're not going to sing it. You're not going to bring it. You're going to bring it. You're not going to spray it. You're going to just make it all happen, and you're going to put on a hell of a show for all the fans. And that's what you're going to do. All right, Mike, I know you have to get in there and you have to train, so I'm going to actually let you go now. Go do your thing, because you have a few more days of training, and then we're gonna talk about it after your match.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm very sorry for coach you the last 2 times. I love you dearly, brother.
You got it, my man. Go do your thing, and I'll see you Saturday.
Yes.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
What is your major malfunction?
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Ladies and gentlemen,
My mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.